Hi there, viewers and gamers alike out there, and welcome to an Arkham Twin Days video birthday special, because since I like Power Rangers so much, I'm going to do another topic of Power Rangers once again in this topic, because my birthday is on the September 10th. So, this is video number 1 of Arkham Twin Days of This Is Alliance Teen and multi-universal lore and more. So, Power Rangers had a lot of shocking plot twists throughout its run, with stories heading in directions that fans were never expecting. For every part, or should I say for the most part, every incarnation of Power Rangers as a series has been as straightforward as possible. Not that there's anything wrong with that, of course. At the end of the day, even older audiences can enjoy it as a family. Power Rangers is made for kids and has produced its content in a way that the show's main demographic can understand. And also for adults, because there are some of the storylines that can be dark. I mean, on a children's show, and it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny how it feels like it has its own Arkhamverse, because Power Rangers are being dubbed in the American version from Super Sentai of the Power Rangers of Japan, if you want to know. So we are going to talk about these jaw-dropping twists. So it's about 10 plot twists that no one saw coming. In theory, that would also mean that the show is limited in the stories they tell to have to fit in a certain quota. But that isn't always the case. Every now and then, the writers of Power Rangers, not just the show, but also in the comics, find new and innovative ways that deter from the usual formula in ways that make for jaw-dropping twists of the 10, and here they are in no particular order. Number 10. Mighty Morphin aren't the first Power Rangers of Boom Comics, if you want to know. So, and you thought they were the first. Wrong! For many, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers team was the first team that a lot of fans stumble upon, and as such, it's greatly assumed that they were the first team of Rangers ever recruited. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comic book number 20 by Kyle Higgins and Danielle Di Nicolo. If I spelled Di Nicolo, capital N-I-C-U-O-L-O. Di Nicolo, or Di Nicolo. It's D-I. Capital D-I, capital N-I-C-U-O-L-O. Expands on the lore by explaining why this isn't the case. And why? The first team of teenagers with attitude recruited by Zordon was actually in 1969 to stop the plot of a psycho ranger trying to free Rita Repulsa from her prison. I'm not kidding. This is not a joke. This is 100% in fact on the Boom Comics. Psycho Green is stopped. Of course, if you heard of the name Psycho Green before, have you heard of Psycho Red, Psycho Blue, Psycho Pink, Psycho Black, Psycho Yellow from Power Rangers in Space? Yeah, those bad guys. It's like, how come there's no Psycho Green? Simple. The plot twist explains itself. So Psycho Green is stopped, but not without casualties. Red Ranger Grace Sterling and Yellow Ranger Terona Washington are the only survivors. Zordon is so ashamed that he forced teens into battle only to die that he doesn't like to talk about it. Like, wow. That is Arkham for you! That's why the storyline is Arkham, and you thought it was KIDS. No, it's not. Because Power Rangers has its own Arkhamverse that connects, that can relate to Super Sentai, but in a different kind of way. A little bit, or a little difference. Number 9. The Titanium Ranger is Captain Mitchell's son from Lightspeed Rescue. And I'm pretty sure some of you might have seen Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue, which is not a bad show. The twist is something of a 1-2 punch, since the first twist involves the Titanium Ranger Morpher being stolen so soon after, after being introduced as a new tool, which you happen to notice, being created by the Aqua Base. That's where the base where the Lightspeed Rescue Rangers is. Lightspeed Rescue! As the Ranger decimates Team Lightspeed, Captain Mitchell soon discovers that this new Ranger is none other than his long-lost son. This soap opera-esque twist turns demonic when it's learned that Mitchell, during Ryan's childhood, made a deal with the villain Diabolico, which I've seen the entire series. It's like, yeah, it has a twist because it has a dark storyline. And it is Arkham would raise the boy himself. Mitchell wouldn't see him again until his 20th birthday, and in the meantime, Diabolico convinced Mitchell's son that the captain gave him up because he preferred his sister, Dana, or, yeah. Which is kind of makes sense if you want to know, like, so you wanted to give up your son and try to save your daughter, and his son was being your son was being caught by the villain Diabolico. It's, yeah, that's how it happened. Very Arkham, isn't it? Yeah, it's like, wow. The devil's due of the villain from Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue. Number 8. Matthew Cook is the new Green Ranger in the Boom comics. That's right. When a new Green Ranger was introduced in the new Mighty Morphin comic series, and his identity kept a secret for several issues, few readers expected the long-lost Matthew Cook to be reintroduced in the role. Matthew Cook was first introduced in the Go-Go Power Rangers comics as a friend of the Rangers, unaware of his friend's superhero activities, but nonetheless kidnapped as collateral by Rita Repulsa. And you thought it was Tommy Oliver again, right? Wrong. Upon his freedom, confused and tortured, he was certain that his friends were the Rangers. Where they lie to his face about it, he stops being their friend and is never seen again. He never resurfaces until the new Green Rangers unmasks himself completely, and bingo, you get Matthew Cook. Number 7. Astronema is Andros' sister in space. I have to go for the spoilers of the TV show series now, don't I? Of any Power Rangers TV show series on my birthday week. Power Rangers in space, like up to the point in space at least, were always one-dimensional and never had a backstory that went much beyond them just being evil for the sake of evil. That is until Astronema is introduced. Throughout the series, Andros is portrayed as mourning over the kidnapping of his sister Corone. The letter E is silent. Capital K-A-R-O-N-E. Corone. Remember, the E is silent. Ever since their childhood, and has more or less given up hope that she's even still alive. That hope turns into confusion in the 26th episode. The Secret of the Locket. When Andros finds a locket containing himself and his sister as children, he quickly realizes that his arch nemesis was his sister all along. Completely, right in front of his face. It's like, so how do you keep a secret from the world's greatest detective right in front of your face, who is an arch enemy? It's simple. You stick him right under their long pointy nose and wait. And guess what? It works every superhero it works against almost every superhero, whether a superhero or not. Because they're so blind they could not even see it. That's right. So he does quickly realize his arch nemesis, his sister all along, soon learning that after her kidnapping, Corone was brainwashed by Darkana and into serving Dark Spectre. So yeah, that's how the plot twist goes. Pretty much. Woo! Woo! Number 6. The Peace Conference was a cover-up in the Boom comics. Of course, the same thing goes for the not in the TV show series that you're going to a peace conference, which is kind of the cover-up. Pretty far off the grid. Like, how is that supposed to happen? So, when it came to the point in the comics where Jason Lee Scott, Trini Kwan, and Zach Taylor all leave the team to enter a peace conference, which is like, yeah, you go to a peace conference because the three main cast members were absolutely kicked off from the show, and only one of them being brought back. Actually, 2 of them being brought back, if you want to know. It was assumed that this would be the last time readers would see the trio since. Of course, from the TV show series, that is different. They've seen the last time of Zach, Trini, and Jason until Jason came back as a fresh member for the Zeo team, the Zeo Rangers, because he becomes the Zeo Gold Ranger, to taking the place of Trey of Triforia, and he yells, "Gold Ranger power!" That's right, but in the Boom comics, a little different. So, like I said, it was assumed. It was assumed that this would be the last time readers would see the trio, since save for some future cameos by Jason and Zach that would align with the lore of the show. Instead, the folks at Boom Studios flipped the script by introducing the bold idea that the 3 never stopped being Rangers. The Peace Conference was merely a cover-up, so they could venture off into space protecting the galaxy as the Omega Rangers. Like, how is that supposed to work? Then how come Jason Scott Lee came back as a Zeo Gold Ranger? Well, it's simple. Between the TV show series of Power Rangers Zero and the Boom comics, Jason Scott Lee came back because of Tommy Oliver wanted to find a brand new, refreshing face for the Ranger team. Of course, because Billy can't become the Zeo Gold Ranger because of something from what has happened ever since back on Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And so for that, if you want to know, Jason Scott Lee is recruited, and he becomes the new Zeo Gold Ranger by taking the place of Treya Triforia. And but in the Boom comics, they become the Omega Rangers for going to protecting across the galaxy, which is absolutely amazing. So the Peace Conference was a cover-up in the Boom comics, while in the TV show series, it was kind of not, if you want to know. So yeah, there's a difference between the Boom comics and the TV show, and that's exactly how it happened of those two differences. Number 5, Mac is an android on Operation Overdrive, and I kind of noticed that Mac is an android. I mean, built with human emotions and all that. So let me get to this straight. Throughout the course of the Power Rangers Operation Overdrive, it is constantly implied that the Red Ranger Mac's father was hiding something from him. But it was never clear that the secret could be, or why Mr. Hartford sheltered his son from the world to begin for so many years. It's simple. I mean, if you pay attention to the paintings, there is no shadow. No one could have possibly guessed on the episode 25, Things Never Said. Revelation that Mac was an android the whole time, created by billionaire Andrew's desire to have a son but never settling on a woman to procreate with. He builds an android that he imprints with memories of his own childhood without Mac ever being savvy to what he was. So yeah, it's like he's an android, but he's kind of like Pinocchio, which absolutely works. I mean, he's not a real young, he's a young teenager, but not a real human who's an android, and all of a sudden at the very end of the episode, he becomes a real human that's not an android, which is pretty interesting to see. Like, yeah, Power Rangers Operation Overdrive is a combination of, think of this, like Power Rangers with Indiana Jones and Tomb Raider of Lara Croft. And there you have it. You got your Power Rangers Overdrive. Operation Overdrive, sorry. Number 4. Lord Draken or Draken kills Tommy Oliver in the Boom comics, which is a dark storyline. The idea of time and alternate universes was a concept barely explored, if at all, in the actual series. So when that same concept manifested itself in the comics in the form of an evil Tommy Oliver, fans kind of assumed that the official universe's Tommy was in safe hands. Not just because it'd be assumed that one Tommy killing another could disrupt the space-time continuum, but it's not like Tommy ever died in the original show, no. You know what? You want to know what this idea thing of what Lord Draken reminds me of? I'm pretty sure for those who watch Dragon Ball Super would have a pretty good guess of who was the main villain from another universe. He reminds me of Goku Black. That's right, Goku Black, who is goes by the name of Zamasu, because he despised of all humanity and mortals, and then they sully the gods and all that. And I would say it would somewhat relate to Lord Draken, if you want to know, or Draken. It's just absolutely can be related, and see how it can be related to some things like that. And also can be somewhat close to Hyperion a little bit. Hyperion is a character from the Marvel Comics. However, Kyle Higgins and Daniel Di Niccolo took on the bold job of having Lord Draken kill off Tommy at the very start of the Shattered Grid arc in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comic book number 25. What makes this all the more shocking is that it comes after a blissful, albeit awkward, date with Kimberly, making the death sting just a little harder. Ouch! And that's how Kimberly become mournful for the loss of Tommy Oliver. Oh my! Why? Number 3. Evox was Venjix all along in Power Rangers Beast Morphers! That's right! At the end of Power Rangers RPM, which I have seen the entire TV show, and it has its own Arkham verse on Arkham storyline because of the dark storyline, because everything, all the Power Rangers shows and the comics is Arkham. There was a cliffhanger near the end that implied the Venjix virus that terrorized the Rangers had survived inside of a cell-shift morpher. At first glance, it seemed to be nothing more than a great visual to end the finale on Never Intended to Be Capitalized On. However, it wasn't until 10 years later, in Power Rangers Beast Morphers, that Venjix would return in the form of Evox. When explaining his backstory, Evox explained that a young Nate Silva, the future Gold Ranger, right there, had been experimenting on that morpher, inadvertently releasing Venjix's data into the Grid Battle Force until Evox absorbed it for himself. And from Power Rangers RPM, so how is that possible when he came back into an apocalyptic era and everything was going to start blooming all over the planet again and no more Venjix? The Venjix virus is gone and now the planet begins to bloom again from that dimension and from Power Rangers RPM, and then 10 years later from Power Rangers Beast Morphers, Venjix is Evox. So that's a twist for ya. Number 2, Frax was human on Power Rangers Time Force. And I have seen the entire show, and the show is really good. It's actually well done, to be honest. It has its own dark storyline. The storyline is just really good. It's like the combination of Power Rangers meets X-Men. That's right. Power Rangers meets X-Men. Throughout the course of Power Rangers Time Force, Frax was portrayed as nothing more than a standard villain assistant to the main antagonist. However, he's slowly revealed to not only by a combining traitor to Rancic with his own motives, he's revealed to have been human the whole time. In his past life, Frax was Dr. Louis Ferrix, a kind-hearted doctor who was kind enough to save Rancic's life, which is incredible, and makes a serum for his illness. In return, Rancic blew up Ferrix's lab with Ferrix inside. Having barely survived, Ferrix rebuilt his body into a cyborg and joined Rancic as a loyal servant, merely being a Judas in disguise. More than a villain, Frax was a complex product of a never-ending cycle of hate, tying into the themes of Time Force, which really is a great show. And number 1 is a Ranger actually dies in Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. As with just about every season of Power Rangers Lost Galaxy had a team-up crossover midway through its season, this one was between them and in the In Space series. Things were pretty business as usual until the initial crossover was followed up by the Power of the Pink, which saw the return of the Pink Psycho Ranger. Pink, Psycho Pink had descended into the Pink Energy Storm, and that was going to destroy Terra Venture and everyone on it, until Galaxy Pink Ranger Kendrick sacrificed her life to save everyone else. This marked the first time that a Power Ranger died, which is a pretty big twist for a children's show of an Arkham storyline of its own. Which are you sure about this? Yes, because the entire show is Arkham. And the reason why the Pink Ranger did that is because the actress who played as a Pink Ranger from Power Rangers in Power Rangers Lost Galaxy was falling due to an illness, if you want to know. So they had to bring back Andrews' sister to become the new Galaxy Pink Ranger, and that is how it happened, because the actress who was the main Pink Galaxy Ranger because she had an illness and was trying to come back, and then had some health issues or something like that. And we are going to stop here for the time being on this birthday week special on Leo's birthday week right here in Leo's Let's Plays Alliance of Arkham Twin Days. And thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe. And there will be a live stream on Thursday right here in Leo's Let's Plays Alliance of the game of my choice. Remember to fight with honor, love, truth, and justice. And tell me, what do you guys think of Arkham Twin Days right here? Like it or hate it, mash that like button and or share this video. And as your friendly neighborhood superhero who takes chances making mistakes and getting messy, who likes peanut butter and chocolate and a breakfast for dinner, Godspeed, play safe, and shalom. Remember to fight with honor, love, truth, and justice. And I'll see you guys on a video special of right here on Leo's Let's Plays Alliance. See you guys next time for more of Arkham Twin Days.